Welcome back. This is going to be the final episode on this book that we are discussing, Monsoon Feelings. But I can promise you that this is going to be the most fun episode so far, as we are going to discuss the theme of monsoon in Bollywood, in the movies as well as songs. And these two chapters in this particular book, I really enjoyed. And I'm sure you too, many of you will be Bollywood fans, you love the Indian music, and how this idea of rains and monsoon season has been integral in the whole industry. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. So let's start with this. First of all, this association of songs and poetry, we see it goes as far as back as to the times of Kalidasa. So let me remind you of one of Kalidasa's verses from Ritu Samhara. It talks about the rains and the clouds, how they move, and then we can see how that influence has carried even today in today's Bollywood songs. So I'll read the translation of Kalidasa's poetry on rainy season. It says, "The rain advances like a king in awful majesty. Hear, dearest, how his thunders ring like a royal drum, and see his lightning banners wave. A cloud for elephant he rides, and finds his welcome from the crowd of lovers and brides." And then just see this with uh, one of the songs from a Bollywood movie called Dil To Pagal Hai, and I'm going to read the translation of it. "A walk like a horse, the magnificence of an elephant, O king of the rainy month, where have you come from?" So this comparison with horses, with elephants, this walk of thunders and clouds, it's clearly it has got rich and deeper roots, and they go far back in history. So these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind, that this is a continuing tradition where for centuries and probably millennia, poets and writers, they have been comparing um, the clouds, the rains, the season of monsoon with different elements. And those comparisons, those poetic metaphors, they have come to us. And I think we are fortunate in that sense that we have such rich tradition of poetry and music. One of the things that you will see in a lot of rain songs in the movie industry or generally in India is there are two kinds of emotions that are presented through rains. One is that of love in union, which is called as Sambhoga Shringara, and the other is about separation, which is called Vipralambha Shringara. So these two contrasting emotions, you don't find something in between. These two really contradictory emotions. One where you are meeting the beloved, other there's a separation. It's kind of the same thing. It's like two people, they're very close to each other, and the difference is just that in one idea they're coming even closer, and the other idea is about they are moving apart. So it's about the just brief space between two lovers, and that's where this music, this poetry, this magic of rains, that exists. And that's the kind of emotion that it evokes. And you'll find a lot of songs on this idea. Now, I'm just going to go with the book and the kind of themes and ideas that it mentioned. The first thing that it talks about is how in a lot of Hindi movies, in a lot of Bollywood movies, you find that the rains are so much associated with the city of Bombay. The settings are generally about the Mumbai, and in a lot of songs, even though the song itself is not about rain per se or the season, but it's just the setting is there. They are expressing their mood, they're expressing their love, affection, and the setting is all about rain. The song is not. And one such example is this classic from 1955 from a movie called Shri 420, and this song I'm going to play for you, and I hope you'll enjoy a little bit of it. So let's just listen to this song, and we'll talk further. प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल कहता है दिल रास्ता मुश्किल मालूम नहीं है कहाँ मंजिल प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ है प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल. So, what is this song doing? The song is talking about the dilemma of love. On one hand, they're confessing their love, and on the other hand, they are suggesting that there are challenges ahead, and what do we do? So, this is a really beautiful romantic song, and but it's not about rain. It's just that you see, there's an emotion, and you add the background of rains to it, the sound and the feel and visuals, and somehow the emotion gets so intensified. You feel it. If you just ignore the visuals, um, the emotion would be slightly different. I think it won't have the same intensity as you see it on the screen when there is rain and they're carrying the umbrella and roaming in the streets of Mumbai. So that's really the first idea that we talk about here, that just the addition of rain, nothing else. The song is not about rain, the emotion is not about rain, but just the addition of rains, it does something. And there are so many other songs which do the similar thing, but they're more specific in that sense, that they add certain kind of erotic value to the romance that is already going, uh, whether they are shot in the rain or there is a bit of mention of the rain, but not specifically they are talking about rain, but just that eroticism, this idea that just adds so much intimacy into the song. So first I played a really old song. Now let me play a slightly new song. It's from the movie called Chameli, and in this song, what happens is this girl is dancing in the rain, and she's just celebrating her joy, the expression, and that expression of romance that just gets enhanced so much when you see the visuals in the rain, the girl dancing in the rain. So let me play the song for you. कहाँ जानती नहीं कोई रोक ले भागे रे मन कहीं आगे रे मन कहाँ जाने किधर जानू ना भागे रे मन कहीं आगे रे मन चला जाने किधर जानू ना. So you get the idea. It's just the song of freedom, just expression of love, of freedom, of joy, and whenever you get time, you watch the video and you'll see how the same music, same words, poetry, it gets enhanced through the rains. And then this book specifically mentions two old songs, and they are so much about the rains. And unlike the earlier songs which had some kind of rains in the background, these two songs you'll find that they are how deeply they are entrenched in the narrative, in the poetry, in the feeling of this song. And the first song, it's called Rim Jim Ke Tarane. It's from a movie in 1960. And what happens in this case is by the time this song comes in the movie, the couple who are singing this song, they are separated by this time. But when the song comes, uh, it kind of brings or evokes the memories of their first meeting. And there are messages of rain, and there is this familiar imagery of clouds and messengers traveling from other places, and just the mind itself dances like peacocks. So all those comparisons, all those um, intimate moments have been mentioned, but in this case they are fused together with the rain itself, because the title itself, it's talking about the rain. Barsat meaning rain. It's saying that the rain itself has brought these beautiful songs with it. So let me just briefly play this song for you.
झिमझिम के तराने लेके आई बरसात याद आई किसी से वो पहले मुलाकात झिमझिम के तराने लेके आई बरसात याद आई किसी से वो पहले मुलाकात झिमझिम के तराने लेके आई बरसात.
So you see, this is so much about nostalgia. Rains come and they evoke certain memories of the past. Then you go back to it, and obviously it's got to do with so many other senses also. There are visuals, the smell that the rains bring, especially in the monsoons, the smell of the earth, and the lush green all around, the sounds of rains, all those sensations that you feel, and the nostalgia that comes with it, that has been captured in this song. And the second song itself, it's called Rim Jim Gire Savan. It's from a 1979 movie, and once again, this is so beautifully intertwined with the idea of rains, but at the same time, they're expressing their emotions. The couple, that is, they're roaming in the streets of Mumbai, they are just getting drenched in rains, and they're experiencing this season of rains, and in that, they're expressing their emotions. And another interesting thing about this song is that in this particular movie, the song appears three times, and there are slightly different versions, and each time you notice the variation, and you notice how that subtle change is there in the emotion, and how rains still go with the new idea, with the variation. Kind of they are evoking the similar emotions, as we said earlier. Those two particular emotions, one is that of union of lovers, two is somewhat about separation. Now let me play this song for you, and you'll get the idea. Let's play this. सुलग सुलग जाए मन, लगे आज इस मौसम में, लगी कैसी ये अगन. And I'm sure you're going to love the video whenever you see it. The Bollywood superstar Amitabh Bachchan is there. He's roaming in the streets and just enjoying the rains of the city. And That's what the idea is about. The rains, they bring this feeling of freedom, and somehow that romance comes out. Romance in every sense, that is. It could be for nature, just the pure celebration kind of feeling. It could be about romantic love with your partner. It could be about something else. But it's just that it brings out those emotions of celebrations and joy, and that has been depicted in so many Bollywood songs. And the list is really long. I don't think we can cover, even if we have 2 hours, 3 hours. It's such a long list. For now, what we do is we are going to move on to the movies, and specifically we'll talk about a couple of movies, and we'll see how they have captured this idea of monsoon and rains, and we'll see that. So first movie is it's called Thoda Sa Rumani Ho Jaye. It was released in 1990, and it's not really a very popular movie, but it's a very interesting movie. Something that you should watch if you are interested in this theme of rains. Interestingly, in this movie, the first drops of rain, they fall only towards the final scene of the movie. But there's a lot of anticipation of rains throughout the movie, because so much of the narrative, especially in the first half, it revolves around the drought, or the absence of the rains, absence of the monsoon. Let me read you this conversation between Binny and her father, that will tell you what's going on in the movie. So Binny, she is talking to herself in a low voice. She's saying it's very hot, and then she wipes her neck with her red dupatta, and turns her head, and just trying to get some relief. And the father says, "There has been no rain, right?" And Binny says, "Yes, it should have happened by now, and the weather also continues to be scorching. But we should not give up hope, isn't it, Papa?" And the father says, "Yes, my child, we should not give up hope." And then Binny, she takes a deep breath of air, smiles with relief, as if she has already sensed some kind of cool breeze, or maybe scent of rain. Then she says, "If rain is uncertain, one should wait for the rain to come." So let's come back. What is this character? She's a 30 years old lady, and she's still unmarried, which means in those days it was a big issue. What am I saying? It might still be the case. I don't know how it works in so many of the diverse societies of India. And then she lives with her father and two brothers on a farm. At the same time, the people of the village, they call her Bini Mardani, which means she has very male qualities. She wears clothes like men, and behaves more like a tomboy. And as I said before, the season of it's about the anticipation of rains. The season has arrived, but there has been no rains, and all these farmers in the village, her family also, they are dependent on the season, on the rains. At the same time, the cattle, they are dependent on rains. They are dying, and a lot of farmers, they are planning to leave the village. But the real interesting way in which these two ideas, that the drought that is going on outside and the emotion of the character, they have been meshed together. It's depicted in the scene that I'll describe. So what happens is, this aunt, she comes from the city to propose different, maybe possible matches for marriage to Binny. But Binny refuses all of them, and she says that she was not a suitable match for any of these young men. And the aunt leaves the house, and she's very angry at the time, and she recites this kind of magical curse that says that happiness and the breath of life that will vanish from that place. And Binny looks really troubled. And then she opens the window of the living room and looks out into the darkening evening sky. And then she's talking with her father, and the scene that I described earlier, where they're talking about rain, that happens. And the Binny eventually says, if rain is uncertain, one should wait for the rain to come, right? And now, once again, she looks out of the window. And once again, this complaint about the heat, once again, it's more introspective. The weather is really hot, really dry, and it's anticipating something, and so is her inner world. She is also anticipating something. It's just not happening. That is the romance and the marriage that should have happened in her life, but hasn't happened. And then eventually, this turning point of the movie comes when this mysterious stranger, whose name literally translates to in English as a rainmaker, he enters the house and introduces himself to Binny with a poem. And the poem is something like, I'll translate. It says, I stay in the hearts, I inhabit the hopes, I live in the dreams and I take the sorrows. When a dream withers, when hope dries, desire gets scorched, then I come and I make rain. And with the arrival of this character, this rainmaker, you'll see the theme or the audiovisual semantics in the movie, they start to shift. This atmosphere of drought to evoking of monsoon feelings that you can see. And that's something we find in the second half of the movie then, where we see the story of this rainmaker, how that helps Binny to revive her hope and develop more confidence. And then towards the end of the movie, we find this beautiful song, whose translation once again I'll read for you. It says, when there are no signs of clouds in the lands of the blue sky, when the jungle burns even in its own shade, then the season has come that you and I shall softly sing the song of the clouds and have a little romance. Life is difficult without hope. Let us dream a little and let there be a little romance. And what else happens? The details, you'll have to watch the movie for that. But it beautifully captures the theme of the monsoon and how that really touches the emotions. And there are so many perspectives you'll get to read, so many themes you can understand through this movie. So something to look forward to. And I'm sure many of you would not have watched the movie. So I hope you'll enjoy this. And then the next movie that the book talks about, it's Lagan, which was quite popular. I'm sure most of you would have watched it. But nevertheless, we can still talk about it and how this idea of monsoon, the rains, has been depicted in the movie. I think many of you would remember when the villagers, they gather around and the land is dry and they're hoping and praying literally for the rains, and then they see the clouds and then they start singing. Let me play this song for you and then we'll talk about it.
चमक चमक देखो बिजुलियां चमके मन धड़काए बदरवा मन धड़काए बदरवा मन मन धड़काए बदरवा काले मेघा
पानी तो बरसाओ, काले मेघा पानी तो बरसाओ. Yes, so that's the song. Let me translate it for you in case you didn't understand. It says, dark and rumbling, the rain clouds gather, sounding and thundering, the clouds throw shadows, the clouds' drum sounds echo. See the flashing lightning, the clouds make my heart beat fast. The clouds make my heart and soul beat fast. Oh, black clouds, shower us with water. So that's what they are saying. They're praying for clouds, for the rains, and then they are just appreciating, they're welcoming the rains. And there's a mood of joy and celebrations, as I said. This is what monsoons do. They just set forth this mood of celebrations for a lot of Indians, and this agriculture has been the prominent reason there. And you see this idea of collective celebrations in India. That's just people coming together. They are having collective dreams, shared dreams, and everybody coming together, dancing together, singing together, and that's how they express their joy, their happiness. Um, Many of you would remember this movie for the cricket match that is there, but also the main plot challenge is this idea that the monsoon season has failed, and it means this is the time when British colonizers were there, and the indigenous people, they were supposed to pay their taxes, but they were not able to pay taxes because there was no rain, there was no produce. So what do? They come up with this concept that they will play a cricket match, and if the indigenous people they win the match, the British government they will let go of the taxes. So that's loosely the plot here. But at the same time, if you do a deep dive here, you'll find those that theme being reflected in the lives of people as well. So one side you see there is a failure of the clouds in the skies to deliver rains. There is also the failure of the people on earth to live together in conditions of justice, and the failure of the people to sustain their hope in times of suffering. And that has happened. This kind of illness has befallen in India, and that has somehow created an imbalance in the natural cycle of India. So that's how they have depicted this colonization. And what happens is eventually they win the cricket match, monsoon arrives, it means some kind of balance is restored, and these people, they are getting back their energy, they are reclaiming what is truly theirs. And I think through these specific characters, for example, Captain Russell, who's there, um, through these specific characters, they have represented uh, specific ideas. Like this Captain Russell, he's kind of describing or representing this destructive characteristics of colonialism, British colonialism in India. He's very greedy, he's selfish, very sadistic also. And through his character, we find that how the British, they kind of have looted the wealth of Indian people, the nature, the soil, and everything. But then you see a really interesting marriage of Indian folk stories or religion here, because the character Bhuvan, the lead character who is the hero, he's kind of depicted as Krishna, and just like Radha, who was in love with Krishna, there is this British lady who falls in love with this Indian fellow, but of course they don't get together. But this there is this one-sided love where this woman is devoted to him, just like Radha was devoted to Krishna, and just you see how beautifully they have combined different ideas. On one side there is this colonialism, this idea is going on, then this romantic idea where they have weaved together the mythology or itihasa of India, and the third thing is the cricket match, which is much more entertaining thing, but it also combines the idea of sport or war or competition, and these three ideas come together to give this really powerful feel to this movie. And in the background of it all, there's the rain, there's the season, and that's how from Kalidasa's Ritu Samhara to now, to the paintings, to movies, that has happened. That there is this mention of season, and the season are affecting the emotions, the lives of people, and the two are not disconnected, they are deeply connected. That's how uh, different artists in different forms of art in different times, they have depicted rains and the season of rains in India. But this is not just it, there is much more in this book. You learn about the monsoon or the rains description in dance forms, in medicines, traditional medicines, that is, and much more. So, if you really want to get into this book, get into this idea of how rains have been depicted throughout Indian history, you have to pick this book and you have to read it. And not just once, just like me, every monsoon you can pick it up and start reading it. Then it really feels like a wonderful experience. So I'll leave you with that, and next time I'll come back with a new book, and I'll hope we'll stay connected and we'll continue to explore more books together. Thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you the next time.